Hello! Inconsistent top 10. Contentious top 10. Sorry, I know y'all are like, hey, he just put out a bunch of inconsistent bookworms. Yeah, so it's on my brain. But yes, we are back, of course, with consistent top 10. I am back.
Already
with
loving.
Contentious top 10s. There's too many Yes, we are back with contentious top 10s. We're going to talk about, as I said we were going to do, the top 10 sequels that are better than their original films. Now, small disclaimer, yes, I know Eclipse is technically better than Twilight. It's better than New Moon. It's better than all the others. It doesn't matter. What I graded these movies by was not only how good they were, but how much better, it's great English there by me. My grammar is good.
Words are hard.
Yeah, grammar especially. But I don't just measure them by how good they are, but also how much better they are than the preceding films. Especially if the preceding film was such a fantastic film, or I personally really loved it. And somehow it just pushes beyond all of those boundaries. At least that's what I went by. I guess Megan just like, this list. Am I guessing correctly there?
Can we get to the list?
Why not? I like vamping. Vamping's fun. Oh, so as per our usual rules, of course, one per franchise. Mm-hmm. The Marvel series kind of can be up in the air, since it's hard to say. I choose one Marvel movie. I gotta choose one child then. I can't. And I will start this off. And of course, we're going to go with the honorable mention that's gonna piss people off, because it's only this far. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. I will admit, it's probably the best out of them all. Yes, it can drag a little long. But out of all the movies, it feels final. It feels like this is the end of a journey. It really does feel like it. It's a fantastic movie. I love it. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I bet everybody's asking, why is it just an honorable mention? Because it's one of those movies. On all sequels, you have to watch the preceding film. This is the one, if you don't watch any of the preceding ones, you won't know what the fuck is going on. You won't know who any of these characters are. It is a movie that picks up literally right after the other one. Like, Two Towers ends, Return of the King, bam, we're already in it. We're deep in the shit. So, it is a sequel, and I feel good about it being on this list. I feel bad trying to say, it needs to be over these other movies that, yes, they're sequels, but they're not just a continuation of a large story, which is what this feels like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the reason why Return of the King, it's on my list, but I feel bad about putting it over other movies that actually had to do a lot more. This one just had to continue a story. And that was incredibly straightforward. But yes, that's my cop-out. A little throw in there. So what about your little honorable mention?
Well, I would just say we are starting with the eye rolling early.
I rolled at her list. Sorry, some of the things I know she put on there went. So, what were we eye rolling at?
Beethoven's Second.
Why? Of
Puppies!
Of all the sequels there are in the world, why that one? It's not even one that I'm wondering, is it better than the original? It's like, who cares? It's Beethoven.
I like the Beethoven movies, or at least the first two. And the second one was especially good because it wasn't as dark as the first one. And also, puppies!
Because how dare a movie try to have any seriousness, huh? Darkness equals bad, Megan.
Why? It's like, I like things to be lighter. I mean, they can be serious if that's the appropriate tone. Like for some of the later Harry Potter films. Although, please, turn up the lighting next time.
Why would they ever do that? That makes sense.
But yeah, this one was a lot more lighthearted. Yeah, my problem with the first one is that the villain was a vet who was kind of experimenting on dogs.
So you didn't like that the villain was a villain. Cool.
Like, it was a little, I don't know, it seemed a little dark for kids.
So?
I mean, it's like some of the stuff, like, it almost kind of like borders on animal cruelty. It's like,
It's
I find it hard to
supposed
watch as an adult. There's one reason why I find the second one better. It's funnier, it's more lighthearted, and again, puppies!
And y'all wonder why I say that really y'all shouldn't take us as critics.
Mm-hmm.
More importantly, this one. Why you really shouldn't take her as a critic. As you're
These are our opinions. As we have said numerous times, these are our opinions.
and just like everybody has said, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one and they all stink.
It's like, feel free to agree or disagree. But that's just my honorable mention. Moving on to number 10.
I'm afraid of the list. My number 10, I actually thought about this amongst myself. I really was sitting there like, well, should I put this? Should I put this? Or maybe this? Eventually, I decided upon Star Wars The Force Awakens. Some people are hating that it's so low. Some people are hating it's on the list. It's just a retread of New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's a retread of New Hope in a new way. Yes, I do fully admit, it's like there are a lot of similarities between this and, you know, the fourth Star Wars movie. Technically, it has to be called that. Thank you, prequel trilogy. But it actually gives us some better dialogue. Watch A New Hope. I love the movie. It's near and dear to my heart. God, that dialogue's terrible. Mm-hmm. The acting's very stilted, except from James Earl Jones, and he's a little over-the-top bombastic. In not very good ways at times. Instead, you get much better acting, a lot of really damn good practical effects mixed with obvious CGI, because of course they're going to go CGI. But when they go CGI, it's good. But when they're practical, it's really damn good practical effects. And on top of everything, I care about the characters a lot. Sure, I cared about the characters with the original Star Wars series, but these I can feel invested in. We have a stormtrooper who's not a coward, but he just doesn't want to kill. You know, you have a lady who is having to discover herself amidst this massive war that is going on, and she's being drug into the middle of it. I mean, best, she's got minor characteristics similar to Luke Skywalker in that she does have latent force powers that she doesn't quite understand or really know about. Harry Potter, yeah, you still fucked that up with, whatever that one was that really fucked with the canonicity of everything.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Choke It. But I mean, there's actually a lot more to it with her. I mean, she's not just like Luke, who's like, oh, I'm just a young kid, and I lost my parents. Or I lost the people who raised me. She, as far as she knows, she's by herself, and she has no one to depend upon. And that kind of makes her for a very interesting character. She's very compelling. The actress does a damn good job. I'm afraid I cannot pronounce the main guy's name, because it's a lot of weird vowels and areas that my brain can't comprehend. But I do know he was from Attack the Block, and I loved him in Attack the Block, and he's just as fantastic in this, if not even better. And it's a fun ride. And it's fun to bring back Star Wars. I mean, this is the movie that made me remember, why did I love this series so much? Because you watch the prequel series, like, it's good, but none of it is great until you get to maybe the final act of Revenge of the Sith. And even then, it's got its problems, especially in the camera work. This movie proves why Star Wars is such a great, awesome thing. Why, I'm going to go ahead and say it, it's better than Star Trek. Because it's got so many better characters. No offense. I love Picard. I love Kirk. They're not anywhere near as good as even a quarter of what Leia is, especially when you look at this movie. You know, Carrie Fisher, you know, is unfortunately no longer with us. But I mean, hell, even emo Vader, pretty much, Kylo Ren, he is even more interesting than most of the Star Trek crew. Simply because he is a guy who was trained in the light, turned towards the dark, but his story is in our face, and we see his destruction on screen, and it's actually a lot more depressing than Anakin's. It tears at your soul a little bit more, especially since he is such a young guy, unlike Anakin, who was older. And also, it helps that the actor is so much better. Is his name Adam Driver, if I'm not mistaken?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Adam Driver. I'm going to still look it up. If I am right, then I will not say anything. But yeah, Star Wars Force Awakens. I still love the movie. Haters be damned. I don't care. I still love it.
Now, when you say it's better than Star Trek, you talking about
the entire series.
The entire fandom?
Entire fandom. Star Wars.
Them's fine words, honey.
I know. Bring it, Trekkies.
But...
yeah,
exactly. I don't know if you can hear his mother downstairs. Just hiccups like that's my opinion there.
Yeah, yeah, it's a better entire series. No offense, it's got better characters. And I'm more of a person about characters. I don't care about... If you're going to try and build a world, you need to insert something more into it. You have interesting characters, you don't have memorable ones in Star Trek a lot of times.
Well, that's kind of the way I feel about Star Wars. Like, a lot of the characters are not really that memorable.
So you don't remember Luke Skywalker, you don't remember Anakin Skywalker, Han
Solo. I just mean like these minor characters. Everyone keeps talking about like Boba Fett. It's like, who the fuck is this?
People only talk about Boba Fett because he looks cool. The actual true Star Wars fans actually love the actual like Princess Leia, especially when you delve more into her. They love Han Solo. They love Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, I like the Princess Leia's badass, girl power. But
John Boyega. Why can't I say John Boyega? Yeah, it's Adam Driver. Ha ha ha. Sorry, I said I wasn't gonna say anything. My bad.
But yeah, more of a Trekkie. Live long and prosper.
Sorry, Star Trek will never be able to get the characteristics. They will never get me to care about its characters until they quit caring about trying to build a world. It sounds oxymoronic.
I know what you're saying. It's like you want to focus more on characters and less on all the different worlds and species and stuff.
Yes, because you can put as many worlds and as many species, governments, and all this into there. But if I don't have any characters that compel me, I do not give a shit. Well, there's a lot of Star Trek episodes I'm like, I don't fucking care. There's a lot of them like, alright, cool. This is why I guess I didn't care about Deep Space Nine. People say, oh, it's really character driven. Maybe it's because of me. It's like it didn't seem that way. And maybe it was also because the characters that were supposedly character driven just weren't interesting. I mean, I don't remember anybody from that but Worf. And that's simply because he was from Next Generation. I remember nobody else.
What about Quark, the bartender?
Don't remember. Again, they're not memorable characters. There's not a lot of interestingness to them. There's no mythos or anything. It just feels like a lot of
they have lots of
world building.
They have a lot of complexities to them, and it's more than just world building, especially with Deep Space Nine. But
I'm just saying that's what I get a lot from Star Trek. I get a lot of world building. I don't get a lot of characters. That's the thing.
Well, that's kind of what I get out of Star Wars. It's like I like Star Wars, but I'm more of a Trekkie. So
yeah, Megan likes technobabble.
It's not the technobabble. It's like learning about all these different species, especially about the lore of like Klingons and.
But again, if you don't have any interesting characters, it kind of destroys any attempt to try and care about it. Because I mean, what interesting Klingon characters besides Worf is there?
There was Martok, General Martok.
I don't even remember who that is, so that tells you anything. And even then,
he was mostly introduced on Deep Space Nine, so you wouldn't remember him.
because I don't remember Deep Space Nine. It was.
Did you even watch the whole thing? The whole series?
I couldn't. It was just, no offense, it was really boring. That's the reason why I never watched the Dominion War.
As the top 10 devolves into a Star Wars versus Star Trek discussion, folks.
I can't help it. Star Wars is so much better, so I can't help it.
Whatever you want to think, honey. But moving on.
Yes.
Moving on to my 10. More eye rolling, possibly. Mighty Ducks 2.
D2 the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, it's actually.
Yeah, it's got a weird fucking title. It's like.
Yeah, it's like the Mighty Ducks, and then D2 the Mighty Ducks, and then D3 the Mighty Ducks. Like.
Can't we just call them D2 or D3 or something? Even though that sounds stupid.
Like,
and then you know what? There is a D4. It's a game though, and it has nothing to do with Mighty Ducks.
And there's also a TV show, an animated
TV Mighty
show
Ducks, where they're actually ducks. Oh yeah, I'll watch that show. That show was hilariously stupid.
I used to watch that show too, or at least a little bit of it. It's like this, like what does this have to do with the movies? This has nothing to do with the movies. This is stupid. So, like I watched a couple episodes. Like,
be fair, it was Disney for you. So what about D2 made it better than D1? I guess. Let's carry the tradition. Let's just call it D1, D2, D3.
Sounds like we're talking about like Dungeons and Dragons, like the dice things.
Well, those are D20s or D6s, as some people refer to them. Yes, I have D20s. But to be fair, I got it from Magic the Gathering, so I get my own nerd creds from somewhere else, assholes. So.
But. What was better? I don't know. Just the introduction of these new characters. I don't know. Somehow it shouldn't work for me. But somehow it does. I mean, trying to mesh the old team with these new players, and it works. I don't.
Well, what about it works? The chemistry, or is it like?
Yeah, something about the chemistry, and not just like the Bash brothers. I love them.
Though it always bothered me that they said they made a big deal. It's like, oh, they're the Olympic team. I don't remember there ever being an Olympic team for junior ice hockey.
I don't pay attention to Olympics, so I couldn't tell you.
I don't know either, but I don't remember there ever being one. And also, it's weird it's during the summer. But to be fair, it doesn't strike me as too odd because I am a guy who's lived his entire life in Texas. So thinking about running around on a big old sheet of ice during any time of the year is kind of odd to me. Yeah, those of you who wonder why we Texans get really weirded out about anything dealing with ice, we just won't fucking ever see it.
Yeah, why we freak out and close everything over just a little bit of ice.
Yeah, but to be fair, Northerners are just as bad. We're going to close down the school because it's 95 degrees outside.
Pussies.
Shit, assholes. They told us to go outside and drink more water. Quit being pussies.
So yeah, to sum up, North does not want to hear shit from the South during the winter. South does not want to hear shit from the North during the summer. I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, especially when we're sitting there, we're just all melting. Oh, it's hot for you, huh?
Yeah, it's like triple digits in the shade. It's like...
Or you can just work at Amazon where they're like, ha ha ha, we will not turn on any AC. Ha ha ha. I really expect him to be like Montgomery Burns. Excellent. And yes, people, I realize that if you look up my last name, my name is Charles Burns. Sorry. No, I was 2 years before show, so fuck you.
And your middle name is not Montgomery.
Yeah, thank God. Charles Montgomery Burns. Oh, see, guys, thank God nobody really noticed that when I was in school.
Well, we are only like 2 into this, and we have already gotten so off topic.
Oh, yeah. So, any more you want to say about D2? Just you liked it more than the first one?
I don't know. I guess I found it funnier.
I think it's more memorable.
Yeah, it's like surprisingly, I don't remember that much about the first one. I have all 3 of them.
Why you have the third one is beyond me.
I don't remember. Maybe I got them all 3 at the same time, like in a pack. I don't know. I don't remember. I've had these movies for so long. Who knows? Who can tell? Like, anyone who can remember when I got these is probably dead by now.
It's one of those times whenever you buy, you go, why the fuck did I buy this?
Well, at the time, it's like, I kind of sort of liked the third one, but now I got older, it's like, yeah, the third one sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just ignore that third one ever happened.
Well, the third one, the big problem is that it focuses only on one main character and really bogs down the story a lot. While the others actually focus on different characters. I think that also... I think the other reason why you have issues with the first one over the second one, I think the acting, strangely enough, is better in the second one. The acting still... It's a kid's movie. It's going to be a little hit or miss. Hell, you got Kenan Thompson randomly in there.
Yeah.
But you still have decent child actors. I mean, at the worst, it's a little over the top.
Yeah.
You know, or a little bad.
Foggy. Foggy from the Daredevil show.
Foggy Nelson?
Yeah.
Yeah, young Foggy Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of everything, you have... They got a little bit better in D2, and D1, it's a lot of hit or miss. It's like... And also, Emilio Estevez is a little bit less of a jerk-off. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a jerk, but he's an understandable jerk in the second one.
Yeah, because he's trying to push everybody to be their best in the Olympics and also to actually work together as a new team.
Yeah. And that's the reason why also D1 is kind of insufferable, because he's actually just, I have to do this for probation.
Yeah, because he doesn't give a shit about those kids.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually he does come to care about them, but...
Yeah, but it takes so long, it feels.
And I think it's partially that he wants to compete with his own coach.
Yeah.
Played by, Perry White from Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
To me, he will always be known that... Sorry.
That's okay. There's some characters I'm like, you are this person for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like Jason Biggs. Poor guy. I mean, they made a joke about it in Jan Silent Bob Strike Back. He is always going to be remembered as a guy who stuck his dick in a pie. He's not going to be anything else ever. Should we move to my number 9? I am completely capable of speaking tonight. Oh, my number 9. Again, this is me. This is all me. The Expendables 2. I really love the first Expendables. You had some pretty good action sequences. Maybe it's a little dark at times, like the actual lighting is a little too like, oh, what's going on? And sometimes you wish they would go a little less on the CGI blood. And it doesn't feel like it's a complete and utter throwback to the 80s, though it does have a lot of good throwbacks here and there. Hell, you get to see Jet Li and Dolph Lundgren go at it. Where the fuck else are you going to see that awesomeness? Instead, in Expendables 2, they upped the lighting, they upped the action, they just say to push everything to 11, because we're just going to have Chuck Norris fucking come out of nowhere, be badass, be Chuck Norris in all essence. Like, they don't even refer to him by a name, if I'm not mistaken, and his like whole speaking to everybody is Chuck Norris memes. It's awesome. And then, just to top it all off, you have Jean-Claude Van Damme, who has only gotten better with age. I mean, Street Fighter was like almost his low point. Ever since then, strangely enough, he has been getting better. I mean, this is a guy who put out Double Team after Street Fighter. That shouldn't have been as good as he made it become. It should have been terrible, but no, somehow Jean-Claude Van Damme saved that movie. Who's ever going to say those words? In this, he gives an intimidating villain who is fucking crazy as hell, and he's such a blast to be around. And he's one of the things that just helps to pile into this awesome, gooey 80s-ness that's like, I love you. Okay. Sorry, my kitty is right behind me. She's kind of hurt a little bit, so she's probably going to be in here the rest of the video, but y'all probably can't see her because she's just laying up against my back. Yeah. Expendables 2, much better than the first one. There's still some of the issues, like a little CGI blood here and there, but God, if it does not make up for it with such an interesting amount of characters, an actually good acting from everybody. I mean, how can you do that with this diverse cast of egos in all essence? And we'll just forget about the third one.
Yeah.
Not the worst movie in the world, but damn, was it a letdown. I was like, oh yeah, they're going to go even harder. Why is it rated PG-13? Ugh. Yeah, they rated R and then it's at PG-13. Yeah. Oh well. So, what's about your number 9?
I say I cannot add anything to your number 9 because I've never seen any of these Expendables films. So, moving on to mine. Spider-Man 2.
Not the Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Hell no. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a travesty. I think we can all agree on that.
It was a train wreck is what it was. It would almost be watchable if it wasn't like 2.5 hours long.
And also, if the villain had a bit better motivation.
Which one? There were like 7. It is one of those movies where it's like, y'all really give Spider-Man 3 a lot of shit. Maybe Spider-Man 2 somehow flew under it in terms of bad. Yeah, Spider-Man 2's alright.
Yeah, I'm talking about Jamie Foxx's character.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about, Rhino who just shows up. Or Green Goblin who's just there.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Those two were. Go show how memorable they were.
Yeah, Rhino he is in the trailer as much as he's in the movie. Oh. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 was alright. I will say that. People think I am, or can go ahead and be like crucifying me. I will say it is no better. It is no worse than Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 3. They are all equal. They're all alright.
Yeah, I like the first Spider-Man, but I think the second one was better. Yeah, Doc Ock, awesome villain. I want to call him compelling. I'm not sure if that's the word I'm looking for though.
Well, you can understand his motivations.
he had a point, and you could sympathize with him.
Yeah, he was sympathetic. Compelling can also be a good word.
Yeah. But,
yes.
But yeah, there's that, and my mind is drawing a blank.
You put it on your list and you don't remember the movie, huh? You don't remember the fact that there's this stupid, I lost my powers because I'm in love. Seriously, I hate that. I will go ahead and people are like, oh, it's really good. That makes no sense.
I think what it is that he loses powers because he loses confidence in himself.
He isn't, though. That's the problem. That never happens. Hell, that's not even brought up. That's the biggest issue. The whole losing powers never is explained. It never comes back up. Because, hey, why wouldn't it happen whenever he actually ends up with her? Instead, it's just like, I keep my powers even though I am in love with her, and now I am with her. Mm-hmm. So wait, you could have done this the whole time? It's the same argument with Frozen. If all it took was love the person who is there, instead of the parents like, I'm going to have this stupid troll tell me this poetic mumbo jumbo and not fucking listen. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Frozen sucks. Frozen is one of the worst Disney products they have put out in a while.
What's how you really feel, honey?
If Frozen died and disappeared for the rest of my life, I would be so thankful. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Spider-Man 2.
Mediocre. Mediocre to alright.
Yeah, other than the villain, I really can't tell you why I liked it better. I think it was better action, better
writing.
Yeah. And slightly better comedic moments, what little there were.
And they didn't get, oh, what's his name? It's gonna bug me.
Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, Willem Dafoe. You can get Willem Dafoe just being, completely fucking batshit crazy.
Okay, Hammy.
God, he's awesome. He is one of the worst and the best things about Spider-Man 1. There is nothing subtle about that character. There is a whole lot of, wow, you realize you're in a comic book movie, don't you, Will? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's still awesome. Still love it.
I think I also liked that, exploring Peter Parker without his powers.
But it doesn't go anywhere with it, though. Not trying to deny your list should be, what it is, even though, I think it's a little shoddy.
I just like it better than the first one. Let's move on.
She didn't want me to point out the facts, like, it never explained how he loses his powers or why.
Like I said, I think that it's just that he loses his confidence.
But he doesn't. There's never any indication to this, though.
Just get on the list.
Don't you dare poke holes. Oh, number 8. I had it on my previous, because I've done lists like this originally way back in 2012. That tells you how long it's been, and these movies have really been shuffled around. It was on there. It's still on here. Predator 2. First Predator was a fantastic, really kind of just pretty much a stalking killer movie in all essence, though done interestingly. Set in a jungle, set in an area where it's like, well, we should be able to see it, but we can't. And you get Odney just being awesome. The movie does get a little bit into that, cheesecake every now and then. It's like, let's get into the bro that they do at the beginning. That's just so masculine. I think I just popped an extra couple of testicles. And only that, but you get a lot of hammy acting from it. Especially Jesse Ventura. Sorry about that. Yeah, Jesse Ventura's in another movie out of nowhere. It's like, okay, this is what you were doing when you weren't a senator. But the second Predator does have its hammy moments. Bill Paxton's in it, so of course there's going to be a lot of ham. But you get Danny Glover actually pretty much having to be an Arnold character, but you can see he can carry an entire movie. And not only that, but he can actually be a legitimate action star without having to be, an action star. He's not a Bruce Willis. He's not an Arnold. But he's a good combination of both of them with a little bit more humanity, for lack of a better term. Nothing against Bruce Willis and Die Hard. Die Hard's still fantastic. But you just get a very human guy, even though he has to do some almost inhuman things. And not only that, but you have a new setting and you have some fantastic fucking killing going around. Just a predator going through an entire city, wiping the floor with any motherfucker who gets his way. It's gruesome as all hell. It's bloody. It's action-packed. You will have more fun than the first one. No offense to the first one. First one's still fantastic. This one is the classic that the first one is treated as. I just remember it. Also, you cannot go wrong with, oh god, I can't remember his name now. It's going to bug me. Gary fucking Busey. Who I think they didn't give him any lines and just told him, Gary, be you. And wow, he's so much damn fun in this.
That's what you want to talk about crazy.
Oh, yes. He is batshit crazy. Oh, fortunately, it's not in the movie very long. When he is, he makes all of it. So, what about your number 8?
Well, funny that you should mention Bruce Willis and Die Hard.
Guessing Die Hard with a Vengeance? Even though I totally disagree.
Well, that is your right.
Well, I think Die Hard with a Vengeance is a very good Die Hard movie. Much better than 2 and the other 2 that
yeah,
happened
the second
to
one's
come
kind of
after.
forgettable. Sorry, William Sadler.
And, it's better than 4, much better than 5. 5 is not even a Die Hard movie. It's just like Bruce Willis action movies. Might as well be what's called Bruce Willis in Bruce Willis action movie. Pretty much might be able to be its name. And also, we got, wait, who put Jai Courtney in anything? Oh, you fucking idiots. Yeah, because Jai Courtney has about the acting talent of a crumpet. I'll steal a line from Honest Trailers. But I will say nothing can top Die Hard. Not in the series. Die Hard 3 tries, but doesn't quite make it in my eyes. But why do you think?
Well, I like Die Hard. Die Hard with a Vengeance, I think, was so much better. It was funnier, more action-packed, I think. At least that's what it felt like to me. Also, Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson is always wonderful.
Yeah. It's like he...
Especially being Zeus, father of Apollo, ruler of Mount Olympus. Don't fuck with me or I'll shove a lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson being Samuel L. Jackson, and Bruce Willis having him to kind of bounce off of, and it's great. And plus, Jeremy Irons. How can you go wrong with having the villain being played by Jeremy Irons? I know he can be a little hammy at times, but
Even in his hamminess, he's fine.
yeah.
Like, he is like the only watchable part of all Dungeons and Dragons.
So, how's he do it?
Feel your age. Still have no idea why that's there. It's like, you think the director went, the fuck is he doing?
I don't know.
It's not even the line.
I've never seen Dungeons and Dragons, so I could not tell you. But
That is in the first 2 minutes. Meg's like, I'm gonna have to find this thing.
I don't know. It's like, with the exception of like Man in the Iron Mask, Jeremy Irons was like made to be a villain.
Well, even then, I think he's supposed to be almost like villain-esque in a way.
In Man in the Iron Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a little bit of a douche at times, but he's kind of a fun douche. Like he can kind of be a prick sometimes to some of the other characters, but he's fun. Like not, Hugh Laurie, Dr. House, fun, but still kind of.
He's kind of like, damn, I've gone blank on people's names today. Who friggin' plays Lucius Malfoy?
Lucius?
Yeah.
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs. Jason Isaacs is one of the best fucking bad guys ever. And seeing him as a good guy is so... Yeah. It's jarring. But him being a bad guy,
maybe
he's
that's
the
why
best.
Wake got canceled.
Yeah, because he's a good guy. Even though
People can't handle him as a good guy.
Can't stand this guy being good. But, oh, damn, that was such a damn good show. Had to remind me about that.
Yeah.
At least they ended it, even though it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I gave it sort of an ending.
Yeah, they're like, fuck it, end. Thanks. Sad y'all got canceled.
I'm thinking they actually had a plan for season 2 to explore more of the dual worlds.
Yeah, what's happening.
Yeah. Well, actually, the third world that they kind of created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're talking about a very fantastic, underrated, 1 season only show.
Of course.
Thanks, NBC. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll disagree with you, but I will say, though, Die Hard with a Vengeance is one of the better action movies of all time. It's one of the better action sequels to movies of all time.
Yeah.
I think Die Hard's better. No offense.
That's why, like I said, I like Die Hard, I like Die Hard with a Vengeance more.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just forget the second one ever happened.
What? You mean Die Hard with a Vengeance was number 2?
Yeah, Die Hard 2 and anything that came after Die Hard with a Vengeance, let's just forget those ever happened.
Live Free Die Hard's okay. It's much like 2. It's good for what it is, but it's...
Not very memorable.
Yeah, it's not a memorable movie. I mean, the most I remember is that, you had Justin Long being really annoying, and also that he had to fight an airplane with a diesel. At one point, that was weird. But...
I do not recall this, but then again, it's been ages since I've seen that movie.
Oh, he also did have Timothy Olyphant. He was a bad guy in Die Hard 4.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't remember.
Yeah, he was in it. That's about it. He was in it. Oh. So we move to my number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another movie I don't think you've ever seen. I don't think you've seen the first one either. That I do own the 4th one. And people are going to ask me why here in a second. Aliens. I know everybody's asking, why do you own Alien Resurrection then? Alien Resurrection is hilarious as hell. Shouldn't be, but it is. The book's even funnier. If y'all ever get to read the novelization, it's awesome cheese. It's terrible, but it's hilarious. But Aliens took upon the premise of what Ridley Scott built in Alien. It was such a fantastic film. A great, just serial killer pretty much in space. And somehow James Cameron took that and said, I'm going to make this into an action movie. Not just any kind of action movie. One of the best action movies to come out in the entirety of the 80s. And not only that, but I'm going to still keep the horror elements. I'm going to then also interject all these characters that are going to be memorable. They're going to be interesting. And then I'm actually going to make you give a shit. And he did. Like, every single time a Marine dies, you weren't like, oh, a Marine died. You were like, oh no, that was Hicks who died, or that was this person who died. You remembered the characters. You cared about it. And of course, you cannot go wrong with Ripley getting into a mech suit, getting it, saying the famous lines, get away from her, you bitch, and beating the shit out of an alien with a giant mech suit. James Cameron knew mech suits were awesome back in the 80s. And dear God, did that pay off, and it was so fucking fantastic to watch on the big screen. Yeah, I didn't watch it on the big screen, I watched a re-release of it way back when. Yeah, Aliens is still a fantastic movie, holds up to this day, strange. And Alien 3, yeah, sorry David Fincher, I know you got fucked on that one. And Aliens 4, I will show it to you, and you're gonna go, fuck with that? Because none of it makes any sense.
Alrighty.
Well, want me to tell you one thing about Alien 4?
What was that?
Ripley dies at the end of Alien 3. Not a huge surprise if you've watched anything she dies in. Alien 4, she's back. She's a clone.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that's one of those... Why? Oh, so what about your number 7? Yes.
Well, we talked about this recently. I know you disagree. But Home Alone 2.
Nope, don't agree with that at all.
How do you not find the second one funnier than the first one?
It has some of its funnier parts, but also it's not as memorable of a movie. And no offense, a lot of it is copied and pasted from the first one.
Well, considering we're quoting, Home Alone 2 all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, of course we quote it, but also you do also quote certain things from the first one. And also, you always remember the first one. And I think the first one was actually more... It is a true quintessential Christmas movie. It oozes with Christmas throughout it. No offense to Home Alone 2. I really like Home Alone 2. A lot of people really hate it. I'm like, it's actually a pretty fun movie. I enjoy it. It just feels like a movie set in New York during cold. Doesn't feel like a Christmas movie as much as it should.
I get what you're saying with that. And I can see how you think that, but thing is that second one, it just stands out to me more.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like so much more quotable lines. How many fingers am I holding up? 8. Harry, I've reached the top.
Yeah, that is the one thing. Daniel Stern and Joe
Pesci.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was going to call him Danny DeVito for a second. I'm like, wait, no, it ain't. Wrong person. But Joe Pesci and him have great physical humor and they actually have great timing with a lot of stuff.
And great chemistry as partners there.
Yeah. But I remember and love the first one just so much more. It's not enough that I would ever say it's like the second one's bad. I think...
You kind of lean towards the first one.
Yeah, I always lean towards the first one. It just
like I lean towards the second one.
It feels like it's more part of my childhood than the second one. The second one feels like a really good friend of a friend who treats you like his bro still. But you never feel like you really know this bro. You feel like, yeah, I can go drinking with him, but never alone. You always feel like you gotta have your first bro, Home Alone, to bring along his good bro as well, Home Alone 2. I think everybody's fucking confused right now, because I confused myself a little. I'll just pet the kitty.
Well, let's just move on, shall we?
Oh, my number 6?
You were absolutely cracking your head, honey.
Oh, yes, I am.
Like, you thought about this way too much, I think.
Sometimes. My number 6, because of course, I love to laugh. I love 21 Jump Street, the reboot they did for the show. 22 Jump Street, though, hand over fist was funnier. It took more risk. It felt like it made fun of itself even better. And not only that, but it kind of just straight up says like, yeah, we're just doing the same shit over and over again. That's funny. It's funny how they do it. It's funny how they pull it off. It shouldn't work. It shouldn't work at all. It's just like a 21 Jump Street Men in Black movie that they're going to fucking do. I still don't know how that's going to work. And it shouldn't work. It's probably going to work. But this movie, like I said, I don't want to sit here and talk about all the jokes just because I don't want to ruin anything. But I laughed from beginning to end. And not only that, but you also care about the story even, no matter how ludicrous it is. And not only that, but they had a chance to put in dumbass from freaking Pitch Perfect, who was also in Bridesmaids and all that other shit. I can't remember her name. She was the fat, stupid British lady.
Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, they had a chance to, and somebody said, no, that whore can't act, and she's not funny, so fuck her. Put this other lady in it who's actually from Fist Fight. I know I haven't seen it, but what I've seen, she's actually kind of legitimately funny in the credits. And damn if she's not awkward, but the perfect amount of funny. Yeah.
You said it in the credits.
Yeah, whatever. Credit trailers. But yeah, damn she's funny as hell. All her humor is awkward humor, but it actually works. Unlike Rebel Wilson, where it's just like, shut up. This like, you're like, hey, you're actually really funny. Yeah, 22 Jump Street, fantastic movie. If you have not seen it, you should go see it. One of the best comedies come out in the last 10 or 15 years. But yeah, number 6.
Number 6. Okay, I know this is another one that we disagree on, but Father of the Bride Part 2. I know you like the first one.
Father of the Bride Part 2 is funny, and then, oh dear God, you have Franz in the whole movie. Dear God, could I do without him?
I don't mind him so much.
Martin Short is insufferable throughout this entire movie. It's like,
no, he's kind of insufferable.
Shut up.
You have not seen Santa Claus 3. Someday I will show you.
That is because I like to keep my sanity as little as I have left. Oh, I admit there's not much left up there, but there's some. He's impossible to put up with throughout this entire movie.
But yeah. First one was funny, Steve Martin. I don't know, I was about to call him George Martin.
Because his character's name is George.
Yeah. But yeah, he goes crazy, planning this wedding for his daughter. And yes, when we get married, that'll probably be me going a little nutty.
What's his name? George
Banks.
George Banks. George Banks says no. Who's George Banks?
Me!
Funniest damn thing ever.
It's like, yes, that'll probably be me going a little... when we go to get married. But...
going a little ape shit.
I made no guarantees not to be Bridezilla. But yeah, I think the second one, it was way funnier to me. Because I said to me.
I was just saying.
Feel free to disagree. Dude.
I am with my head.
Yes, I can see that. But yeah, it was funnier to me because I like that he's having to deal with not one, but 2 pregnant women.
See, part of my issue... Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, what you were saying.
I was just going to say, part of my issue with it, and that is the thing, it goes through a lot of the tropes. Sure, it helped to kind of create some of these tropes of the, pregnant movies. But maybe that's an issue because it does go through the tropes that were kind of set up in the pregnant movies. Oh, they're hungry. Oh, they don't feel good. Oh, they're pretty much wishy-washy. In all essence, it feels very basic. Sure, the first one is a remake of a 1950s movie, and it updates the humor a lot and adds in some good little musical bits. When the first one, if you ever watch it, you're like, Is there any music in this movie? And there's like none. It's kind of, in fact, really off-putting at times. I know the first one does have to build upon that, but it feels like it actually added a lot to the original story. Which is why it's actually one of the better remakes out there. Also helped that it was like 40 years after the first. Or the original. Ugh. But I think this one just, there's too much convention. Where the first one felt like it was setting new ground, at least in certain areas, or creating actual tropes that were memorable and also still can be funny to this day. I think the second one was just a little bit too conventional. Yeah, Charlie looks too much in the movies sometimes.
I don't know why it made me think of Rocky Horror Picture Show. My unconventional conventionalist.
It's been forever since I've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's because I have taste. Sorry, don't like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Not at all.
Which shows you have no taste whatsoever.
I like some songs, but it's just no story. I can't care about songs if I don't have a story.
The story, I'll admit, is a little all over the place. That's on purpose. It's making fun of only like sci-fi movies.
But
from like the 50s and 60s.
Doesn't, though. That's the thing.
But anyway.
That's a whole other discussion for another day.
It's pretty much Frankenstein. With a bisexual, Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, not really.
Dr. Frankenfurter.
It's a little, but I mean, at best it's just a name only.
Anyway.
So, we're on number 5?